When did the animals, the life that we have today, begin to exist on the Earth? The Cambrian Explosion, about 530 million years ago, according to an old Earth model, is when we get the vast majority of the animal phyla we have today. The Cambrian Explosion is also a great place to show the shortcomings of natural selection. The Cambrian Explosion is a geological time frame that occurred around 530 million years ago, where the vast majority of the animal phyla that we have today came about in a very short, geologically speaking, time frame, about 5 to 10 million years. Let's break down the story of what we are taught about how life got here. Right now, we are going to get into an old Earth model of the universe with millions and billions of years. If you are a young Earth creationist, we are delving into an old Earth model to show you that even with an old Earth model, there is not enough time to create all of life. If you don't know what young Earth or old Earth is, just check out that video. The history of the universe is clocked at a start date of about 13.8 billion years ago, according to modern Big Bang models. Then it took about 9 billion years for things to cool enough for the Earth, which they say that the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old, to then have life. Our oldest fossils in the Earth are about 3.7 billion years old, and these are single-celled bacteria. So again, the universe is birthed 13.8 billion years ago. It then takes almost 10 billion years for things to cool enough to have life, and then the first life on Earth, which are only single-celled bacteria, show up on the scene about 3.7 billion years ago. Now, those single-celled bacteria stay pretty consistent until about 530 million years ago when the Cambrian Explosion occurs, where again, we see the vast majority of the animal phyla that we have today suddenly show up on the scene. Now, the Cambrian Explosion lasts about 5 to 10 million years, but that is an extremely short amount of time when you are talking about hundreds of million years or even billions of years. This small window, 5 to 10 million years, represents 1/10 of 1% of Earth's history. This is like 1 minute in 24 hours of one day in Earth's 3 billion plus year old history of life on Earth. So you have pretty much nothing occurring from 3.7 billion years ago to around 600 million years ago, where you start to get some pre-Cambrian sponges, and then at the Cambrian, an explosion of new body plans. So let's just stop there and realize Darwinian evolutionists do not have billions of years to come up with life. You have at max, other than single-cell bacteria and some sponges, you have at max 530 million years to create all of the life that we see from a single-celled bacteria. So once upon a time, about 530 million years ago, lots of new animals show up super fast. It's like a magic show where the magician pulls a rabbit out of a hat. How did that happen so quickly? Again, speaking from a geological perspective, the Cambrian Explosion required the rapid development of new cell types and proteins, an event highly improbable by random mutation and natural selection alone. The sudden appearance of complex life forms suggests a rapid creation of new information beyond what random mutations could likely produce. Another deep challenge for natural selection being able to explain all of life are that these changes need to occur while the organisms are still living. I mean, imagine trying to fix a toy plane while flying it. Pretty hard, huh? That's what it's like for animals to change while they're still trying to live and do their thing. Complex biological structures require many coordinated components to function. Random mutations affecting one component won't work unless accompanied by specific changes in all the others. Evolution is like trying to upgrade your computer while you're still using it. One wrong move and the whole thing could crash. How can one gene evolve into another when such a transformation would require multiple simultaneous and specific changes? This seems statistically improbable. Changing one part of something complicated like your bike usually means you have to change other parts too. Nature is the same way. This mechanism relies on random mutations and natural selection, but how can this process create entirely new body plans like those from the Cambrian Explosion? Scientists wonder how one gene can change into another without a bunch of lucky breaks happening at the same time. Genes are like a secret code for making us who we are, but changing that code just right is really rare, like finding a golden ticket. Evolutionary developmental biology suggests that large-scale changes can come from mutations in developmental genes. But if these genes mutate early, then they tend to be lethal, not transformative. Again, in the end, natural selection is like sorting blocks by color. It can't make new colors, it just picks the best ones already there. Natural selection is like a librarian that can only sort the books that are already there. It can't write new stories. Natural selection is about small changes, but making a whole new animal is a much bigger deal. Natural selection doesn't cause variations, it selects from what mutations produce. But if those mutations don't create advantageous changes, there's nothing to select. Changing complex systems requires multiple coordinated mutations, a highly improbable event, leading to more questions than answers. Natural selection only preserves functional advantages, but generating these advantages requires a series of highly improbable mutations. Again, mutations affecting early development are often lethal, while later mutations don't significantly change body plans, challenging the neo-Darwinian mechanism. DNA mutations alone cannot explain the development of new body plans, as seen in the Cambrian Explosion, pointing to a higher level of organization, like, a supreme intelligence, spaceless, timeless, immaterial. You know anybody like that? The neo-Darwinian mechanism's core claims are challenged by evidence that suggests mutations and natural selection cannot account for the complexity and rapidity of major evolutionary changes. The sheer improbability of complex life forms arising by chance alone, akin to a pizza being made by accident, highlights the limitations of random mutations in explaining life's complexity. While natural selection is an interesting process, it cannot account for the origin and complexity of life. How about the complexity of our universe, though? Check out that video right there on how the universe appears fine-tuned.
Hey guys, these videos take hours and hours to make. Boost my energy up by buying me a coffee in the description section of this video. Thanks so much.
And if you want to make educational videos like this, check out the Pictory link below in the description section. We'll see you in that video over there.